Hello, this is Dr. Rehman Ali, and today we are going to demonstrate create, alter, and drop command for the index and view and MySQL. First, we will be starting that how we could create an index, different types, unique, composite, non-unique, and primary key index, and then how we could drop them. But before that, let's understand the concept of index. Index is a database structure which help us to improve the speed of data retrieval. For example, you have customer table here having data of 19 students and the customer data here in this customer table having 17 records. If you have not defined the index and you want to search any record out of this customer table, you have to look into all the record. You have to scan each and every record, and until and unless you don't reach to the target record, it will take a lot of time and it will be wastage. But if we have defined the index, for example, in this case, and just take an example of primary key, which automatically create a unique index. So when we will be interested in finding a record, for example 14, then that index will quickly take us to that record number 14 without scanning the whole data table, and you can see that it will save a lot of time. This is just for demonstration purpose, not the actual time. So this is how index help us in optimizing the database performance and improving data retrieval. How we could create an index? So for creation of the index, we use create index command. Create index, and we can use this with and without the unique, and then followed by the name of the index and on which table we are applying this, and over which columns from that table will be used as the index. So if we look into this general syntax, we have 5 components. One is create index. This is the generic command. If we use create index, then it will be non-unique. But if we use create unique index, then it will be a unique index, and no two records could be similar within the table. And table name is the name of the table on which we are applying the index, and index name is the name of the index, and the column 1, column 2. So we could define the index on a single column or a multiple column. So if we are creating it on multiple column, it will be called as composite column. So this general syntax can tell us that index could be unique, non-unique, and composite. But we can also know that primary key could also automatically define an index. So we have 4 common index types. Primary key, we already know about this, that if, for example, I am creating a student table with student ID and name, and ID is my primary key. So this primary key constraint automatically applies a unique constraint, and when it is a unique, then duplicate record will not be allowed. And primary key could also be applied on more than one column. So for example, student ID and course ID, that is composite key, primary key. So for this we can apply it on single or multiple. But when we use the unique keyword, for example, create unique, and this is the name of the index, unique index, IDX email. If I am creating any attribute for this student, and which is student email, so email should be unique. For that, I will be create unique index with the name of the index and on student table. And when it is unique, no duplicate record could be retrieved. And another thing is that it could also be applied on single or multiple column. Another type is non-unique. What is the difference between unique and non-unique? Non-unique is also called secondary. So for the difference between these two is that when we don't use this unique command, here you can see, then it means that multiple department code could be entered, and we can also apply it on multiple columns. And the last one is the composite index. When we are applying the index over two or more attribute, name and department code, then this is called composite uh, index. And composite index can have multiple we can add a duplicate record, and we can also restrict it with non-duplicate record. If we use the unique keyword with this one, then it will not be able to take duplicate record. Now let's take an example. We have a student table, student ID, email, department code, and first name and last name. These are the attributes. And for student ID, we will be applying primary key index, per email unique, per department code, which could be duplicated, so it will be secondary and not index, and first name and last name is a composite. So for that, how we could do that? So first we need to create this table with these columns. So we already explained creating table. All the columns, student ID, first name, last name, email, and primary key. So this is the first one, is the primary key. We will just be writing constraint pk underscore student, which is a primary key, and this student ID. And we want the email should be unique, so I will be writing create unique index on student email. But department code could be repeated, and it could be non-unique, so I will be using it create index. I will not be using the unique command. And in the case of composite, create index name on student table, and this student table, we are inside the bracket, I will be use last name and first name. So this is how we could create the index. And once we create this table, create these indexes, then we can add this data into it, and then we can use these indexes to see how they work. So for example, once we enter this data into this table using the insert command, so this will be the conceptual index table for us. And different index has been applied, and this one is the primary key, and these two, it is composite key, here it is unique key, and here it is secondary. So now when we would like to explain that how these index work, so in MySQL we can write select asterisk from this student. This is my student table, where department underscore code is equal to CS. But the keyword explain, when I use the keyword explain, it will explain me that how this query is executed, how index works. And similarly, if I am retrieving the database on the where last name is equal to Khan and first name is equal to Ali. So last name is equal to Khan and first name. So in this case, only one record will be accessed, and in this case CS, two records, because we have two records. So two records will be searched and the other two will be skipped. So this is how, if we run this explain select this query, it will show us that it is a simple select statement has been used, no subquery has been used. This is on the table student, and this is the most important one, type. This ref characteristic tell us that all record full scan are the index one. So index, we have this attribute, this department underscore code, and department underscore code we have applied the index. So that index will go and search search for only those record where the value is CS. So it will tell us that only two records has been checked and the other has been skipped. So this saves our time. Now if you want to delete the index, Then how we could do it, and why we are deleting index, that when there is no more need for the index, we should delete them. And why we should delete them? Because it will help us in the right performance to insert value, update value, or delete in a table, and it will simplify the schema maintenance. And what is the syntax, that how we could drop it? So we could directly use the keyword drop index and name of the index and on which table you have been created. So for example, on student table we have created index on the department column. So drop index, this is the name of that index, and it was on the student table, so it will be dropped. But we cannot drop the primary key constraint directly using the drop primary key. It will not be drop like this. So we have to use the alter table and name of the table, for example student, and drop primary key, it will be drop. Sometime in some of the DBMS we don't need to write the name of the table on which index has been applied, but in MySQL this is a less popular method and may create the problem. But in some DBMS, drop index name could drop that particular index. So this is how we could create the index and we could drop it. So let's now explain it from MySQL. I will open MySQL and will create this table. So let me first copy all this code and I am going to demonstrate it. So let's first create database my test index. I am creating a database with the name my test index, and you can find it here in this list, my test index. Yes, it is created, and my test index, this one. And let's make it active. Use my test index db. Okay, this is now active, and inside this db I'm first going to create a student table. This is the table that we have just demonstrated, and I'm going to first create this student table inside this my test index. So you can see this table has been created, and these are the columns of this table. Now I'm going to define this constraint. So first I'm going to create the unique constraint. Okay, this is my unique constraint and I'm applying it on the email address. So how I could do create unique index, and this is the index name on this student table. So I will execute it, and yes, the index is created. And then I'm going to create the another index, non-unique index. So non-unique index I'm going to create on the department code. The department code here, where is my department code? This one. This is actually my full table. So I'm applying on this one and allowing it that multiple values, duplicate value can appear. So this index is also created, and now I'm going to create the composite index. So let me create index, and it is on last name and first name. Okay, when I executed, this is also been created. All the index have been created, mean this one is the primary key, which is a unique one. This is unique, which is also unique one. This is non-unique, and this is composite. Now I'm going to enter a few records into this table, and then use these index to show us So let me insert these 4 records into this index. Yeah, I added these into this, and let's see. Select asterisk from student. So when I will execute this, we would see that 4 record has been added into this one. Now I am going to use a select query on this student table. Select asterisk from student where department is equal to, where department underscore code is equal to EE, where department underscore code is equal to EE. Okay, so what it will do, it will come and will search in this table. But in this table, department underscore code, this has a non-unique, means secondary, this index we have defined overhead. So it will go and search only this column and will search for EE, not for the other values. And only this record is retrieved. But if I want to ask MySQL to explain this query to me, then I could write here is that how you did it, how you retrieved it, and what was the advantage of this one. So when I explain it, you can see that only one row is searched and not the other row which were in this table have not been searched. So this is the advantage of how it increased the performance by not allowing the DBMS to scan the whole table but only find the particular record. Thank you.